We're replacing the inner tie rod on this 2017 Jeep Renegade. It's a Trailhawk. This should be the same for other years and trim levels. If you go to the dealership, they're going to want to charge you $2,000 to do this because they're going to want to change the whole rack and pinion. But today I'm going to show you what they don't want you to know. I'm going to be doing the driver's side only. That's the only side that's bad. Have your wheel turned all the way to the right. Go ahead, break loose your lug bolts, 17 millimeter. I normally jack point right there. Throw a jack stand up there on a bolt, just some structure of the frame. Normally I'd put it on the subframe there, but I don't ever use the pinch welds because those are only for emergencies and you'll bend them eventually. There's more videos online explaining how to check to see if you need a tie rod or if it's an inner or an outer. You can see here we got some wiggle, and I've already determined that it is not the outer, but it's the inner. Remove the lug bolts and the tire. 7/8 inch wrench on the nut, and on our inner tie rod we got a 9/16. You are going to unscrew that nut away from the inner tie rod. You might need a pipe on your wrench to help yourself break that loose. But next we're going to get this nut off here. That is a 17 millimeter socket. Remove that. The use of a penetrating oil also helps. Keep that in mind. All right, once you get that nut off, put it back on just so the head's showing. You can get a hammer, you can give her a whap, and that's gonna pop that down. We'll remove the nut. We can remove our inner tie rod. If you're having a problem getting that nut off, just go ahead and push this back up in there a bit, just a little bit. I hammer from here, not from the center hole, and go ahead, and you should have enough friction there to remove the nut, and then just a little tap will pop this back down. We're going to go ahead and unscrew our outer tie rod from the inner tie rod. If the inner is all worn out, you're going to want to hold here, and we're going to count how many times it takes to unscrew this. You're going to count that. That's one, and then yada yada yada. It took me 21 rotations to unscrew this from there. Now I like putting a little super lube on the shaft here. Get a pair of pliers, slide that clip down. You're going to remove a band, which I've already done in the back. Should be a screwdriver to break loose band. You can't reuse it if it's metal. Then we're going to pull this boot, slide it down. There's a little bar here you got to get past. Remove your nut, your clamp, and your boot. Disregard these marks. I tried having another shop do this. They said they couldn't. I don't know why. So you can see this is smooth. There's nothing really to grab onto. We're going to get this inner tie rod removal tool. I'm going to use a different one when I put the new one on. This is what you're going to want. These are on Amazon, and they're like 20 bucks, less than 20 bucks. I got my tool on my knuckle. You're going to tighten down the nuts. You're going to get an extension and a breaker bar, and you're going to break this loose. I got it broke loose. Now we're going to unscrew this the rest of the way. Here's the old part. You see how it's smooth? New part has something to clamp onto. We'll show you that tool later. Everything fits, everything's the same length, so our screw ends will be the same. Comes with a new nut, new little clamp for the boot. Comes with a new metal zip tie, we'll call it. This plastic thing washer here, which the old one didn't have, it goes on here. The metal and metal surfaces still touch. I think this is just kind of like a washer. I don't really know, but we're going to put that on too. I already checked it out. Looks good. I bought this on rockauto.com. That's where I buy everything. You can go there, and they had a couple different options. This was the more expensive because they had the metal clamp, which I wanted. I think it was about 30 bucks. rockauto.com. This is a inner tie rod tool. It costs a bit more than the other one I showed you. I got this at Harbor Freight. For this size here, it's using the largest 1 7/16 inch. So that 1 7/16 inch goes right there. This is going to go in this cylinder. These tabs locking on the side. I almost think that a little plastic grommet helps keep this tight into this tool. Works pretty good. You can see how that's connected in there. The whole inner tie rod's in the inside of the tool. 3/4 inch wrench will fit on the bottom. We got the tool in there. I got it hand spun. There's already Loctite pre-applied on this one. If you want to reuse Loctite, put a little bit of blue stuff on there. Now my sway bar link was in the way. This thing here. I put a bottle jack under here just to compress that spring. The whole weight of the car is not on here. You still got it on my main jack. It did come off of the jack stand a bit, so I got room. I was able to get this all the way hand spun. We're gonna torque this to 55 foot-pounds. All right, we got that torqued to 55 foot-pounds. This plastic thing isn't in the way of anything, and it still spins freely. I'm just gonna leave that on, which is cool. You can see this new one's nice and tight. We took out the bottle jack. Everything's back down and safe. We got the boot pushed back on. We're gonna put the clamp on the rear. So if you got a new metal clamp, these are kind of difficult. The little tail is gonna push into there. These 3 holes are gonna go into those 3 grooves, and then you kind of squeeze the top. That's how you get her tight. I now see why people don't use these. I got a nice big zip tie, and I put it back here. It's the biggest one I could get. Got her nice and tightened down, but everything's on there nice and good.
Yeah, those new metal zip tie clamp things, they're kind of a pain. I think they might need a special tool to clamp them down. So I just went with a nice fat zip tie here, and I gave it a pull test, and everything looked good on it.
We got the clamp on. We got the nut on. Outer tie rod screwed in. Yours is gonna be different than mine maybe, but mine's 21 times I'm gonna screw this in. We got everything put back on. This nut here, 22 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. I got my wrench here. You can see how I got that. I'm just gonna give this a good snug, and that's it.
We're gonna put that wheel back on and torque them lug bolts to 89 foot-pounds.
So if this tool keeps slipping on you when you're trying to remove it, mine broke free. I don't know what that shop had a problem with, but you can cut some sides on here. Angle grinder, Dremel, or something. Even a file, it would take you forever, but you cut some slits till you match up with the size of one of these, and then you could get that on there. Now too, if you get it off real easy, you don't even need this tool. As long as you can get this on, and you could torque the new one down with this. Yes, that's it. After all this is done, you need to get in an alignment. And after that, I hope this video helped. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Leave a question in the comments if you have a concern.